projects, aren't they, the gas plants?
Not necessarily all of them.
Oh, not all of them.
No, Kogan. So the Brigalow Peak is being built next to Kogan, which is coal pipe.
Bryson, I've been checking the hands.
So yeah.
The gentleman right at the back there.
Very good.
Yep, you.
Yep.
That's it.
Good.
And we've got two over there, and then we've got one over here.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Few of my concerns are, one is the location thing up in the dam. But the other thing is the information that's quite available in wind turbines and how they're contracted, and also they're roughly a 25-year project, as well as these panels and all that sort of stuff. And in an interview that I saw, Senator Gerard Rennick, when he was still in the Senate, he was interviewing in a Senate inquiry one of the CEOs of a company that was involved in all this solar panel stuff, and he asked the question that is there a renewable rehabilitation clause in the contracts at the end of your 25 years? And the CEO answered, he said, in ours there is. He said, then a lot of others there's not. So a lot of these companies at the end of 25 years can just walk away from the whole deal. Is that a fact with that one up there? Is there a clause in there where the company who finally has it at the end has to clean it up?
I
The
can
other one I've
partially
heard of
answer
is
that.
that with the wind towers, the farmers get paid to have their land destroyed, but at the end of it, they have to remove anything when the contract's finished.
Who does?
The owner of the land.
Yeah.
The owner of the land.
So the one thing, as private landholders, those landholders are only have those companies come on when they have their own contracts, and they make their decisions as to what that looks like. A lot of those have ensured that those companies have some sort of decommissioning fund, etc. What we have done as part of the planning changes now that large-scale solar and wind are a state approval. As part of that SARA, that state approval process, they have to show that they have a decommissioning fund as part of that approval. So that's now part of the planning process for all future approvals.
That's for wind and solar.
For wind and solar.
Just to run in, I'll give you an example of Mount Morgan. When Rio Tinto owned the mine and they realised the mine was running out of gold, wasn't worth mining anymore, they sold it off to a subsidiary company which went broke. And the mine, every time it rains, the tailings dam overflows into the Delulu River and kills everything downstream. That's because the company that owned it at the end, even though they had to rehabilitate, went bust. So what do you think they're going to do with all these?
What are the protections for bankruptcy?
I'd like to add to it.
Hold on. There's two hands over here, and then there's one here, so you're going to have to wait. No, you have to keep it in your head.
So many questions.
On the hand, please,
So
today.
the question was about bankruptcy. What happens?
Yeah.
What are the guarantees?
So that's, they've got to show the state that they have essentially a bankable guarantee. So a lot of the old mines across the state were set up without any rehabilitation requirements and all the rest. And now the state, there's obviously a state managed program in regard and processes as regards to ongoing rehabilitation, abandoned mines program and all the rest. But I can't speak for the battery as far as decommissioning, and I wouldn't even know if you would know, Mary, part of it. It would be...
The decision hasn't been made.
Yeah.
Because the decision hasn't been made, there's no conditions with any decision, because there is no decision.
I asked this question specifically at the meeting that happened at the library in August. We asked about decommissioning, and what we were told by Tom, the host, is that it would be the cost would be covered by Iberdrola, and they had cross-company guarantees that they would fund that would definitely be happening. My question was, okay, you know, the money might be there, but where's the methodology? In the research that I've done, when you say you're going to decommission something, like this big battery, you have to be able to say, where is it getting buried? Where is the material getting put? And when I put that to the host, he said there is no detailed plan because it's in 20 years' time and it's too far away to make a plan, that Iberdrola would actually be funding the decommissioning. And then the question about what would happen if the company bankrupt was never really completely answered. So, you know, if the company did go bankrupt and there is no plan, then I guess we fight it out in 20 years' time. I don't know what the answer was.
Hold on. I just want to say, we're coming to 4 o'clock. It was only supposed to be an hour. There's 2 hands here, there's 1 there. How about that's the final 3 and no more is ejecting? At the back. And then and then you, yeah.
Just one of the things, like, okay, legally, we want to clean up.
Speak up, love,
We can't
speak up. Yeah.
We want to clean up the environment, but I just believe we just got to put too flat on the accelerator at the moment. We've just got this grasp, this idea of alternative power, and we're grabbing onto anything without research. Like, lithium batteries are great for electric drills. That's it. Other than that, they are absolutely useless for anything else. And we're finding that out. Oh, I'm sorry.
I've got about 6 on me at the minute.
Small,
my watch, my
small
keys.
usable items. But when it comes to things like, we're just finding out
Speak
now
up,
with
yep.
cars, all these sorts of things now, larger scale on lithium batteries is just ridiculous. And by putting in all this alternative energy and power grids and everything else, and the infrastructure we're putting in for it, we still haven't got the end product. You're not going to be able to power mining trucks, which they're going to be around for ages. Cars, they're being proven out. The infrastructure isn't there, and they're only surviving through subsidies, like most of it is doing now. How about we just pull the foot off, like you were saying, spend a bit of money on the existing system while we do a bit more research on some viable ways of producing alternative energy, rather than things that have been proven wrong and they actually cause more damage than what they're supposed to be avoiding.
So you'll see, even from next Friday, some criticism that's already been coming ahead of the energy roadmap is, oh, we just want to slow down the push to renewables. Well, that, you know, and it's not, I'm sure at the roadmap you won't all see it and go, oh yeah, they've done everything perfect. We don't, governments rarely get everything right. But we do it. But we will get criticised from probably the feds and from a lot, and we already have been. They've already been putting pressure on us before it's released because they know it's going to extend the life of coal, bring more gas into the system and the rest. So I dare say we are taking a calm and methodical approach to a lot. We're taking part of the reason the Treasurer is also the Energy Minister is because he is a very level-headed man who goes.
Talking about Bowen.
No.
Dave.
Janetsky.
Dave.
David Janetsky. He goes about things in a very methodical way, and the reason he's also the Energy Minister is because we wanted energy to become a question about economics, not ideology.
Yes.
That's why the Premier assigned energy alongside the Treasurer. So it's the Queensland Treasury has the Department of Energy and Climate as part of Queensland Treasury to ensure that economics is being considered as part of that. So that's some of the criticism we're getting, is we are taking a steady, methodical approach to it.
So, sorry,
Yeah,
can I just also say on that you said, like, let's just slow it down. I'm the chair of the Wide Bay Burnett Region of Councils. That region of councils has 6 councils in it. Those 6 councils are Gympie, Fraser Coast, Bundaberg, North Burnett, South Burnett and Sherbrooke. Our WebRock made a conscious decision to write to the government and say, we as councils want to be able to have the final say on any energy project within our regions, because we're primarily agricultural, we're primarily clean. Now, not every council agreed with this. Gympie, for instance, they didn't feel quite as strongly as the rest of the councils, because the rest of the councils have got cattle and produce and, you know, coastline, whereas Gympie doesn't have as much of that. So they were okay with having a bit of wind, but the rest of the councils went, we're not really interested. We don't want that in our backyards. So we definitely want to be able to be part of the decision-making process. So we wrote to the state government as a WebRock and said, we want that decision to rest with our councils because our regions know what we want. We know what our communities want. So that is about slowing that process down. And so as a ROC, 6 councils, we're a bit stronger together. And even though Gympie didn't agree, Gympie was okay with the letter to be sent to say that each council should decide. Because if they want it, let them have it. If Gympie wants it, have it. If Bundaberg region doesn't, then we need to make decisions that are for our community. But if we do want it, and I'm not saying we do, but if we do, then we should have it. And there are councils out there, out west, that don't have a lot of ability to raise money. And they've got heaps of land that isn't arable. Well, what can they do with it? They can put wind on it. And that's fine for them because that's an ability for them to make money for their region, and that might not impact humans in the way it might here or Fraser Coast or, you know. So as a Web Rock, we've made that pledge, and as the chair of the Web Rock, I sent that letter. So there's that.
Yeah, 2 parts of my question. First of all, why renewables? Because most of all the modern day countries in the world, they are banned all of this and throwing out, this 2050 for starters, because they just don't believe that it's right. And the other thing is that while the system is like this, the people that are making the money are the likes of China and those sort of people that are building all of this stuff, and we're getting it here, over here, and at the end of the day, who's going to, I heard the question before, who's going to do all the decommissioning? But we, in the meantime, it is completely crucifying our flora and our fauna, and all of these things that leach into the great artesian water basin. Well, eventually, it's going to go there. So I can't see why they can't just say no until we get it right. Okay, ban the whole lot of it until they come up with a substantial plan.
To ban it all, and sorry, Bryson could answer this as easily as I could, would require the federal government making a decision, not us, not local, not state. If the federal government said let's ban all renewables, then it would come from top down, right? That's what happens.
I will say, I would, if we got rid of all the market intervention that's pushing this, it would fix most of the problem. Because it would only be those who genuinely want to work alongside community, want to be here for the long haul, have the right things in place, would be the ones looking at next projects. And if it was the cheapest and best, it would find a way. But
when you say interventions, you mean subsidies and
all the stuff you were talking about before.
If we stopped all that, that was a good statement. If we stopped all that, then
Well,
the market would
prevail,
decide.
and the best would win.
Yeah.
Right. So that's and no one's talking about building a new coal-fired generator privately because there's not that, or like from a private perspective, because there's not political certainty to be able to do that in the current environment. So we do what we can to deal with all that. But I'm not a believer of banning things. I think, like I said, stop being so brazen in the market intervention, and then that will fix a lot of the problems that we see.
The other part of my question is why hasn't the opposition in the Parliament, haven't they gone to all the debt that they're putting on all the local people in the whole country with all of this program? Why isn't the opposition going to the Governor-General and saying, listen, we've got 3 people up there at the top of the helm at the moment that are dictating to 26 million people here that we're going to put you in debt, but that won't apply to the politicians and everyone in the Parliament because they're going to have all their wages and income given to them, where the rest of us are going to have to pay and pick up the bill. And I don't think that's right.
I will say, I don't think that there's only, in Queensland Parliament, there's only 3 current sitting, or it might only be 2, that are currently eligible for the pension, because it's not, on the, it's not a thing anymore in a lot of respects. I think Prime Ministers might, but the rest don't. But as far as the unfortunate reality is the federal government is democratically elected only.
Internationally.
That's really not a question. No, that's not a question that's pertaining to the matter that we're here for today, or that Bryson's here for. So last question over here.
You said the application goes live again tomorrow. When do you expect to vote on it?
We have to have time to consider the information that's been provided, and so that may take, it has to come to a meeting to be decided. We've just had a meeting today, so it can't come to this month's meeting. It possibly can go to next month's meeting. It's more likely it will go to the November meeting.
They can still extend the stop clock for a little bit.
They could go back and stop the clock.
Yeah, they haven't had their full number of days yet.
Yeah, they
It's the end
have.
of
No, I think
October.
it's, this one stops, but,
They can ask for a further.
An extension,
They've
yeah.
indicated that's not what they'll do.
oh, okay.
That right down the back. Got
A
one
number of
slide.
people here brought up the question about decommissioning. Mining and manufacturing in Australia have to lodge a government bond so that if that entity fails financially, the government has the money to clean up. The renewables don't have that. And a lot of these are run by foreign companies. And there's a very strong possibility before the 25 years is up, they will do a runner and leave us with domestic.
So we will see. So the process when we got elected, before the 50 days, so the planning minister, the call in and all the rest, the planning minister has 50 business days. If it's been a normal approval, if it's been a court decision, like a planning environment court decision, it's different. It's I can't remember the timeline, but it's shorter window. But if either a state approval or a council approval, 50 business days. What happened? Before that 50 business days ticked over, the Deputy Premier, as Planning Minister, put a pause in place on all renewable projects, and then as part of that we implemented before that expired, we implemented the new planning framework for solar and large-scale solar and wind, and the requirements of those applications now require a community benefit agreement signed by the local council. There is processes, if they can't come to that, there's a mediation process and all the rest. And also a social impact assessment is set by, with the conditions that's set by council, but then another key component is they require a decommissioning fund or guarantee to be in place as part of that approval. So what that looks, so because we haven't seen one, there hasn't been an approval yet, so I can't tell you to the detail that that's going to be required, but that is now as part of the planning process.
Is it also for BESS?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes.
No, BESS doesn't form any part of that.
Yeah.
So it's only wind and solar.
Yep.
Our ROC wants to include BESS as a part of that decision making because we believe that it's important as a renewable that councils are provided an opportunity to decide. So we have asked the Deputy Premier to consider bringing BESS in, and I think that's still under consideration. So it's not out of the realms of possibility that will come in at this stage.
I think you've got it held.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
I'll hang around for a bit to chat to people more, but I know the Mayor certainly has to go.
If there's anything else outside batteries, I'm happy to take those.
Yeah.
Barbie, baby.
If you want to know what's happening with Spanish mackerel,
I'd just like to say thank you for everyone coming along. If you would like to go on an email list, if you would like to become part of a group that meets regularly, come and see me and we'll start a list because it looks like that's probably what we're going to need to do if we're going to oppose it. So can I just say thank you everyone for coming along. You're really